Y'all, y'all gonna watch this. Watch this. Is shit going on we do not know about.
About the secret tunnel built under a famous synagogue in Brooklyn. A 60-foot tunnel was found right underneath the Chabad Lubavitch World Headquarters in Crown Heights. That tunnel was shut down. It was filled with cement. But before all that, a brawl broke out this week. People got arrested when police showed up to seal off the tunnel. As for why the tunnel was built in the first place, that is still being pieced together. News 4's Andrew Siff live on Eastern Parkway now, where there are safety concerns also for other buildings in that area, Andrew.
So the Jewish community was out here building tunnels under New York. Yo, the Jewish community are building tunnels under New York City.
Right, Adam. Although we've learned in the last hour or so from the city buildings department that they have successfully shored up all but one address adjacent to this synagogue. One building, 304 Kingston Avenue around the corner, does still have a vacate order because of fire safety concerns. But as you indicated, the controversial tunnel that the buildings department discovered has been sealed and filled with cement. Start with a famous address, 770 Eastern Parkway, headquarters of the Orthodox Jewish Chabad Lubavitch organization.
This is probably the most recognizable Jewish building in the world.
It's like nobody, these people do what they do. They got their own schools, own bus systems, own hospitals, own everything. They do what they do, and nobody even.
The basement synagogue, subject of a decades-long real estate dispute.
They actively knocked down the wall separating the synagogue with a nearby basement, and that's what got all over the news.
The result, a makeshift tunnel that you may have seen on social media this week. Let's go now! It also got the attention of the city's Department of Buildings and led to several arrests for criminal mischief and reckless endangerment. The DOB found the passage 60 feet long by 8 feet wide by 5 feet tall, had no approval or permits, had inadequate shoring, which risked the stability of neighboring buildings, so vacate orders were issued. And cement trucks showed up over the past 24 hours to plug the passageway, preventing anyone from getting trapped down there.
All of the buildings that needed to be shored up are in the process of being shored up.
City Council member Crystal Hudson said local.
Yo, you know what's crazy? Look at all these people.
Others also condemned online and.
Look at all these people. And they fighting the police. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. So we got apparently aliens in Miami. We got the Jewish people building tunnels in New York. We got the migration situation. Y'all heard about the migration situation? Like, can we talk about that for a second? Because I just had to go to the hospital probably like last Thursday, throwing up like a motherfucker. And I wasn't feeling good. And in California, they allow illegal immigrants to get free health care, right? Which I don't, I do. It's a problem. Like, because like legal Americans don't even got free health care. So and I had to wait. I swear to God, I went to like 3 hospitals, y'all. Every hospital was full. Every hospital was full. to the point where I was like, well, first two, I was just like, man, fuck it, I'm about to go home. I don't care. I just deal with it. Man, I couldn't. You feel me? Like I had to try to find another hospital. So I went to the hospital, and I just to get seen at the hospital, I had to wait. I was in there. I was at the hospital for hours. Just the wait time was like 8 hours, 8 to 11 hours. Like it was so long that when you called, they couldn't even tell you how long the wait time was. But so this is the law in California. When it comes to illegal immigrants, it says California has been providing free health care insurance to illegal immigrants who are under 26 years old since 2019. The program will begin on January 1st, 2024, and will provide more illegal immigrants with health insurance under the state's Med-Cal coverage, which means it's being paid for by the taxpayers' money. The government ain't doing this. You know what I'm saying? Out their pocket. It's coming out of ours. So then let's get into what some of the elite people of the United States got to say.
Further, we gave the largest tax cut in history, and we were going to pay down.
Hold on, wait.
Biden is not only dumb and incompetent, I believe that he has gone mad, a stark raving lunatic with his horrible and country-threatening environmental open borders and DOJ, FBI weaponization policies. He is a mental catastrophe that is leading our country to hell. We'll end up in World War III because of this man, and for no reason whatsoever. Thank you.
He says that close to 5,600 families are currently housed in the state's emergency shelter system, and that number is 80% higher than 1 year ago. And it would be helpful, obviously, if just the residents would open up their homes to them entirely. Massachusetts has been spending around $45 million a month to help assist these families. We should rephrase that. When we say Massachusetts is spending, we mean you. We mean when you go home, if you live in Massachusetts, when you go to work rather, and you are putting in that 9 to 5, when you come home and you're tired, this is where your hard-earned money is going towards. When you see in the news that they are going to raise taxes, this is one of the reasons that they may need to raise taxes in the near future. The situation is so bad that the Healey administration is now asking people and businesses to help people in need. So if you are also just a mom and pop shop that's operating, wouldn't it be nice if you also allowed a migrant family to live there for the time being? Now I would say no, but that would make me not compassionate. It's just hilarious now to realize in retrospect. Just think about the Democrats that pretended that this was an act of compassion, that refused to acknowledge a crisis at the border, that tried to pretend that Donald Trump saying that we needed a wall was something that was racist or backwards or xenophobic and wrong, and not actually simply an American first policy, understanding that if we kept up this influx of people migrating to our country, pretending that it's because they're just looking for a better opportunity. Well, to be fair, it is a better opportunity when you have handouts, when you have the government that's willing to steal from hard-working families and to instead give those dollars to migrants. Yeah, I guess it is an opportunity for them. But looking at them castigating that and calling it racist, and now it is undeniable. It is undeniable. And in terms of these inner city communities like New York City, should we feel bad for the residents? You get what you vote for. I think that's one perspective. You get what you vote for over and over again. And these people are starting to understand that there's probably not going to be a way back. So that is something to watch that is actually happening. Amazing. As I said, I'm old. I'm a dinosaur. We used to just have blizzards of snow. Blizzards of illegal immigration. That's the new thing. Look forward to
I do agree with Candace Owens because I was at work one day, right? This is just a story about one day, just a random situation that happened, right? So okay, so it's two parts to this story. First part of the story, I'm gonna just tell you in 2020, I worked for this fucking rinky dink ass job. This is like one of the jobs where you just you just it's like a day for day job. Like, or it's like a contracted, like you get hired for like 3 or 4 days, however long they need you. That's like they might need you for like 5 days, they might need you for like 4 days. So I just doing it and just to get some extra money in. My job was really, it was like we was going to, they travel state to state, and they but it's like they had people that would go state to state, but then like they hire people within the state just day for day to just do the job. So my job was to, like, the voting machines, I was just like take out like I just was putting in the chip. Pretty much they gave us all these chips and we just had to put the little chips into the machine. That's it. So when the people were saying that the election was rigged in 2020, I was like, damn, was I a part of that type shit? Like, that's literally what I was thinking. But then furthermore, this was probably like 3 months ago. I'm at work, and this guy, he was a politician. So I don't know who he was, but he walked up to me and he was just like, hey, do you mind if I talk to you for a second? So I'm like, yeah, of course. And I'm in the hospitality. So I'm like, we talking, and he, he's talking to me as if like he thinks and just assumes my views are democratic. And he was asking me like, what do I think that the Democrats could do to help? He said, this is what he said. He was like, he's going to meet Joe Biden next week, and he wants to know, like, what do I think my people, what do I think that we think the Democrats could do for us to get, pretty much to get our vote. And he was just like telling me things that he would assume would be like things Democrats would like say. And I was just saying, like, I was actually talking about stuff like the immigration stuff, how like it's really a bigger issue because the minorities today is, well, I ain't gonna say minorities, but it's hard for a certain group of people out here, right? And we already at the bottom. So without, when they allow all these immigrants, it's election time. Just think about it. When we don't have a voter ID in this year because the Democrats don't want no voter ID. And the election with all these all these new immigrants, they're gonna vote Democrat. So it's like my class of people, my people pretty much going to be a second class people in America. We already a second class people in America, but we're going to really be a second class people because our vote ain't really going to matter, because these people who they're allowing to come into the country, who they're giving free housing, free food, free cell phones, free places to stay, who you think they're going to vote for? The same power structure that allowed them all of this. So now they don't need our vote because they have their vote. But I'm gonna get deeper into that after we get into this video.
Their areas are almost at capacity for handling the surge of migrants currently pouring over the U.S.-Mexico border. The mayors of New York City, Denver, and Chicago have all pleaded with federal authorities for assistance as the border sees a record number of crossings. Just yesterday, Mexico and the Biden administration formally agreed to work together to keep the border open for asylum seekers while curbing illegal migration.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams shared this video to address constituents on the matter just yesterday. Let's watch.
We're seeing the erosion of the quality of life that we've improved on in such a short period of time of this administration. And we have been impacted. For many months, we were able to keep the visualization of this crisis from hitting our streets, but we have reached a breaking point. We're no longer able to do that because of the volume in numbers. Just last week, we had 3,900 people that arrived here. We are averaging anywhere from 2,500 to close to 4,000 a week. And if you do the math, you see that's 8,000 every 2 weeks, potentially 16,000 a month that we must feed, clothe, house, educate children, and all the services that you would give a normal adult. And we're seeing that play out on our streets of New York. And that is what the breaking point looks like, what we are experiencing right now.
The Biden administration, meanwhile, warned Texas that it will sue the state if it implements a strict immigration law that would empower state and local law enforcement to arrest, jail, and prosecute migrants suspected of crossing illegally. So Mayor Eric Adams just had this executive order passed to essentially tell the
comments from Texas Governor Greg Abbott. In a recent interview, he said Texas has employed every available measure to secure the border, except for shooting migrants.
The migrant crisis at our southern border is having an impact all across our country, from policy debates on Capitol Hill to stretching the resources of a number of cities.
We are seeing a battle between the state of Texas and the Biden administration over immigration.
The major developments from the state of Texas. It's going on offense yet again. The Texas National Guard seizing control of a park that's been at the center of this.
I don't be wanting to sound like a bad guy because I say, you know, I don't feel this is okay. Because now it's to the point where, one, oh my gosh, like, bro, we got homeless people here. We got homeless people in LA, all over LA. We got homeless people all over California. We got homeless people all over the world, but we got homeless people in our own country, America, like a motherfucker. So why are we opening schools, shutting down, like kids is getting shut out, like gotta go to school at home so their school could be used to house migrants. Hotels in New York are being used so they can have free housing. Why we can't do this for the people that's in our own country? And it's like talking about this, if you got that indoctrinated slave mind in my mind, that's what I think. It's an indoctrinated slave mind where you just don't even think for yourself to even be like, yo, you know what? This ain't right. We worried about everything else except for what's really going on right here. That's it. How can we even allow this when we got stuff going on here that we ain't even dealing with? Like, if y'all seen how much money America gives out, to relief money they give out to other countries, and man, come on, man. Bro, I swear to God, if you pay $1,200 to $1,500 in rent for an apartment, you need to be pissed off right now. And I pay more than that. But if you pay $1,500, you need to be pissed off that people can come into the country and get the same shelter, get a place to stay, food, and don't even got to pay nothing. Don't got to pay nothing. The government giving them iPhones, they give them cell phones and all type of shit.
Migrant crisis. It's called Shelby Park. It sits along the Rio Grande River. It served as a landing point for illegals crossing into the U.S. in more than 2 years.
We are deploying every tool and strategy.
So they pretty much mad because America make the borders open so the illegals can come in. What the Texas governor did is he pretty much just he busting them out of the state of Texas by the truckload. He like, y'all can't stay here. So that he busting them to New York.
Strategy that we possibly can. The only thing that we're not.
That's one thing I miss about the South, boy. I love the South, boy. The South gonna keep that shit real, man. They ain't with the flunkies. The South, they got their shit. All politics got their shit. But I prefer to be on the conservative side of things because I don't know, that's just me. I ain't gonna fault y'all for being, or people for being what they are. You know what I'm saying? If you a Democrat, people don't believe none. If you don't want to do none of it, I don't fault nobody for it, for what they do. But me personally, I understand that. Man, I understand certain things, and I understand politics a little bit, and I know that for your people to do better, you have to vote within your people's best interest. And when you voting for what everybody, if everybody ain't got the same interest, the same agenda, because everybody, like, come on, man, it ain't gonna work. And we really ain't got, our people really ain't got, we just following these. You know what I'm saying? We doing what they tell us to do, but it ain't benefiting us in no way.
Doing is we're not shooting people who come across the border because, of course, the Biden administration would charge us with murder.
Abbott goes on to explain his efforts to protect Texas's borders, saying he is using every tool he can, such as building border walls to border barriers, passing SB 4, which the Biden administration has now filed a lawsuit against Texas. And it's not just El Pasoans reacting to Abbott's comments, but so too are lawmakers. In a post on X, Representative Veronica Escobar said, "I can't believe I have to say murdering people is unacceptable. Greg Abbott, it's language like yours that left 23 people dead and 22 others injured in El Paso." People I spoke with were split when I asked them how effective has Abbott's approach to securing the border in Texas has been.
The Department of Justice responding in a new filing to the Supreme Court, saying that Texas taking over that park in Eagle Pass prevents them, Border Patrol, from being able to patrol and surveil the border. They also say that it creates risk not only to migrants, but also to Border Patrol agents. Here's the area that we're talking about.
State, any hours outside of 8 a.m. and 12 noon so that, they can process them. Seems like a
Where that video at? This one.
As the suburbs continue to take a stand on arriving migrants, the city is running out of funds to help them and space to house them.
Now, mind you, this is Chicago.
Reports tonight,
This is Chicago. This ain't even in New York no more. This is in Chicago. They running out of space for the migrants.
Are still choosing Chicago as their landing spot in the U.S. Maribel?
Yeah, that's right, Joe. Even as temperatures drop, Chicago continues to be a hot spot for new arrivals. We spoke to someone running some of the shelters along the border who shed some light as to why this is happening.
What we're seeing is that it is fluctuating greatly from day to day.
Before asylum seekers get to Chicago, they arrive at border cities like El Paso. John Martin, who helps run a network of shelters there, is there to meet them.
A typical stay for us is typically between 2 to 3 days. We work with them to get them to their destination of choice, which varies.
Martin says migrants are choosing to go to cities all over the country, but the top destinations continue to be Denver, New York City, and Chicago.
We know it's cold here in Chicago, and it's only getting colder. Why do you believe people are still choosing Chicago as their destination?
I think the predominant issue is that whether it be, and in your case, probably unintentional, is that they now have a support network within Chicago. Support network being others that have preceded them at that point.
Meaning family and friends who have come to Chicago and are now established here. The city has received over 26,000 migrants since last August. Mayor Brandon Johnson warning space is running out, and now we're learning so are the funds.
Local municipalities are not structured to be able to carry the weight of a crisis like this.
We've learned Chicago is using $95 million of COVID relief funds to foot the bill for migrant expenses instead. And now mayors across the country, including ours, are calling on the federal government to help. In El Paso, Martin and his staff informed new arrivals about conditions in destinations like Chicago, even posting this at their shelters, our daily overnight temperatures, to give them a visual of what to expect.
And then we relay to them, based upon what we've seen within the media, that there may not be shelter or any type of capacity within the community. But again, it's a decision that...
Shout out to Matt. What's your name, bro? Shout out to Matan De Cablo 4600. He says, yo, what's up, bro? Shout out to you on Kick. You know what I'm saying? Had to read one, I don't really get too many chats like that, so I'm gotta, what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy. Appreciate you on Kick. Foggy Special. TL, okay. Nah, that was crazy. What the fuck was that? Yo, I'm tripping. Bro, y'all hear that? It said umbrella head. I don't know what they talking about. Shout out to Foggy Special. You feel me? I don't know what that is, but that's hard. Shout out to y'all.
Disconnected.
Anyway, let's get back to the video, y'all. I'm tripping.
They make.
Now we know that these buses chartered by the state of Texas are dropping off migrants in the suburbs as a way of skirting around city protocols. The suburb of Elmhurst over the last week has received 7 buses. The mayor there telling us that everyone except a handful of the passengers were sent here to Chicago. Reporting live in the newsroom, Maribel Gonzalez, CBS 2 News.
Maribel, thank you.
We were going to have a shelter at this particular location.
Told y'all they kicking people out, kids at the high schools. Businesses is getting torn down, like hotels, because man, these people ain't trying to get no jobs. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to be, one of them mean folk, one of them mean people. You feel me? Yeah, my fault, y'all. I'm focusing on some other stuff. Anyway, yeah, like I just don't feel like that shit work. It's not good for our country. It's not. We don't need that. It's not what we need to be doing right now. We got other shit to worry about. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's move on to something else because that's getting a little too toxic. Let's transition over to so I guess over like a couple days ago, Yo Gotti's brother, Big Jook, was shot and killed. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that they was at his other leaving